Hello, everybody, and welcome back to the Board NBA YouTube channel today for Pick and Roll Thursday. Trying to fire in some NBA bets. Sorry for the late start for this one. Just took a little bit extra time to make sure the play was right for you guys. And the picks have been rolling this week, 5 and 2 weeks so far. Looking to build on that. One official play coming a little bit later on today. If you've been tailing the picks, having fun cashing with Pips' plays, then make sure you are subscribed to the channel. Subscribe to the Board NBA. Help us on the road to 600 subscribers on this channel. And remember as well to smash the like button if you find yourself enjoying the content along the way. Furthermore, if you're on any podcast platform listening in on this one, please take a minute to rate and review 5 stars when you are finished watching. But the picks, like I said, they've been rolling this week. Unfortunately, the injury bug from last week has kind of hit us again this week in what might have been a sweep. If it wasn't for that injury in this one, I would say it probably would have been, but we will never know. Let's pull up the record, however, and reveal how great of a season it has been. 70 and 46 in the season, up to 16 added units, 12.2% ROI. Phenomenal numbers. And it maybe would have been even better if LaMelo Ball didn't leave the game injured because he had 13 points in only 20 minutes of playtime. Alperen Şengün smashed this line. Obviously, Pips, a Rockets fan. Your eyes are on this one. Did this one go as you thought it would?
Yeah, everything went as I thought. Like even in the first half, LaMelo had 13 points at the halftime with shooting 4 for 16. Like he was 4 of 16 and still on the pace to cover.
Yeah.
And yeah, that's what my thoughts were like, okay, we have a great matchup for LaMelo. No one will just make any so I expected like 25 or more field goal attempts, and with so many threes and shooting it efficient, like it was easy to smash this line. But unfortunately, the injury looked terrible. The moment it happened, I knew he's done, and probably done for. Wouldn't be surprised if he's done for a couple of weeks, because he hurt like the ankle that he already missed so much time, and it looked terrible. Like I was scared if the leg is broken when it happened. It looked like terrible. So yeah, just unfortunate.
Yeah. Tough on that one. I mean, the bet aside, I feel really bad for LaMelo, who's been out already, missed some time, and going to miss apparently some more time with this one. And he's such a bright and young player. It really hurts to see a guy so preliminary in their development, even a player as good as him, see some time away. But let's also talk about the two winners. We'll first go to the Jalen Brunson one. Jalen Brunson, we went early on the show. It actually, last time I checked, it did not move as we kind of thought it would. However, it did not stop the play from winning, even though the line did not change. Over 25.5 points, covered easily for Brunson, who gets 32 against the Wizards. Jalen Brunson, first of all, your thoughts on the performance of this one. Second of all, does he have candidacy to make the Eastern Conference All-Star spot this year?
Yeah, that's actually a good point. He's having unbelievable season, but he needs to up his numbers a little bit more. Like he's on 22 and a half points per game with 6 assists. So I don't know how is that compared to Tyrese Halliburton and James Harden. I think still like that's a great season, but the talent is so big that it's very difficult to make it with these kind of numbers. So I doubt it, but Knicks hype can be huge and everyone loves Brunson, so we never know. But yeah, he's playing amazing. It was another great game, but actually a very poor game from the Knicks. Losing at home to Washington Wizards was like not great. But they had so many games over the last they had they had 6 games in 9 days. That was the sixth game in 9 days. And every starter is playing like 40 plus minutes every night, and they had 2 back-to-back games. Yeah, they were just tired. Yeah, just tired. And yeah, but great game from Jalen Brunson nonetheless.
Yeah, since the first batch of All-Star voting returned and the only Knicks player showcased at all was, funny enough, Derrick Rose. I mean, fans love Derrick Rose, that's why. Since then, though, Julius Randle and Jalen Brunson individually have been on a tear. So if Brunson is going to kind of sneak into the All-Star game, it will be as a result of really peaking at the right time during the voting process. So props to him for that. And then this one will kind of segue us into our discussion as well. But the Hawks took on the Mavericks yesterday. Christian Wood went over his line pretty comfortably. DeJounte Murray also comfortably went over this line. It just seemed like we got some really good prices on these two players. Wood more so for matchup. DeJounte Murray, weirdly getting him at 13.5 for such a consistent player was great to see.
Yeah.
And I'm sure that's how you felt watching this game.
Yeah, actually, Wood had a huge foul trouble and still managed to cover this line. He played only 3.5 minutes in the first quarter and 13 minutes overall in the first half. So, and he was yet on the pace. He had 9 points in 13 minutes, and then second half he covered it pretty easily. I expected him to finish like on the 30 points, but he had like quiet last 6-7 minutes. But very interesting game. Like it was close the entire game, like changing the leads, and yeah, great game to watch as a fan.
So good to see 2-1 record for that one. Good profit on that one. We have an official play coming a little later, but wanted to segue us from the Atlanta and Dallas game into this conversation about a trade that took place between these two teams, famously in the draft, where Luka Doncic was selected third overall by the Atlanta Hawks before being traded to the Dallas Mavericks for Trae Young, who was drafted fifth overall by the Mavericks, as well as the next year's first round pick for Dallas. So Dallas gave away the fifth pick, which was Trae Young, and their first round pick from next season, which not that this doesn't really matter into the trade value at the time, but that pick did become Cam Reddish, and that went to the Hawks. Kind of revisiting this one, people have long called this one a win-win trade. Obviously, Dallas gets the better player. However, Atlanta got the extra pick involved. Is this how you perceive this trade, as a win-win for both teams?
Yeah, I agree with that statement.
I
They had,
disagree heavily,
yeah,
but
did
you
they
go
get like
first.
the under Hunter? I think it was
Was it
the other.
Hunter?
I think it was the under Hunter.
Okay, I'll verify that while you speak on it.
Yeah. So if you take comparison between Trae Young and Luka Doncic, like what's the difference? Like, okay, Luka is having amazing season so far, but it will get them nowhere. And we like if we take a look at the career numbers, like it's similar. The only category where Luka Doncic is better is actually rebounds, and he has a size and Trae Young doesn't. Like when if you like look at the stats, it's almost the same. Like true shooting is the same. Luka has 2 more points. Trae Young has 1 more assist. So the only difference in the stats is rebounds. Efficiency is the same, like the same efficiency, career wise. Like okay, of course, Luka is having better season now, but if you look at the achievements, they both went to the finals and conference finals. So what's the difference there? Like, okay, Luka had some bigger performances in the playoff, but that's the way Luka play. Like he's one man team. Like so, if I need to choose one player to carry my team, I'll obviously choose Luka Doncic. If I need a player to play with other stars, I'll probably choose Trae Young. And difference is also a bit on the Luka Doncic side is he has size at least. Trae Young is a small defensive ability. Luka Doncic is not positive defender, but he at least has some size and he's better on that part. And it's easier to cover Luka on defense than it's Trae Young, and I will give everyone that. But if we are talking about offense, in my opinion, they are pretty close. I mean, this season is like huge in favor of Luka Doncic. But if you
Yeah,
take a look prior to this season, I'll say their offensive game is pretty similar. And if it's DeAndre Hunter, I don't know, is it a
it
Conqueror
is.
or DeAndre
It is Reddish, by the way.
Reddish? Okay,
So
then
Atlanta did draft Hunter in that draft, but then their other pick was Reddish, which was
Yeah,
via the
okay.
Dallas Mavericks.
Yeah, if it was Hunter, I would say like no question 50-50, but already she's
Hmm.
like almost out of the league.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well,
Yeah.
okay. My take on this. So agree with what you're saying about the players, but the difference between the players, in my opinion, which is why I think that this is not a win-win trade and that Dallas won the trade here, is because I think if you give Trae Young the teams that Luka Doncic has played for, I don't think Dallas find anywhere near this amount of success. Like I don't think Trae Young could carry this Dallas team in the way that Luka Doncic is. And I think that if you give Luka Doncic what Trae Young has been given, I think he can do more with that. Now, that being said, Atlanta have gone to a conference final with Trae Young, and he was outstanding in that playoff run. Luka Doncic has also gotten to the same point. So by that comparison, by that metric, they've accomplished relatively the same for playoff success. But I think that Luka Doncic is able to provide more to his team with less around him than Trae Young. I saw you kind of want to interject there.
Yeah, but that's the same thing I said. Like if I want one man team, I'll go
Right,
with
right.
Luka
And you
Doncic.
mentioned that.
But I don't think Luka can play with uh, can match up well with another star. Like
That's
he's
interesting.
if the star is like of a second player that doesn't need to ball, don't need to have the ball in their hands like all the time. Okay, but look at without the on ball reps is like useless, in offense. Like he can he needs a guy that he can rest for a couple of possession. But when you have Luka on your team, you are like you want to go through him every time you can.
Okay, so I'll kind of extend this towards Luka now, because I saw like last week conversations about this specifically. Luka Doncic, Dallas have obviously not been able to provide him with the right real pieces around him to really take the Dallas Mavericks off. Dallas aren't exactly a bad free agent destination. They've had some success in the past. Do you think players are avoiding going to Dallas because they don't want to play with Luka, or do you think it's been more on Dallas being unable to really secure the right pieces to put around Doncic?
I think it's the latter. Like I don't think there
Hmm.
are players that won't play with Luka Doncic. Like
That's how I take it as well,
yeah,
because I find that
I don't
ridiculous.
think I don't think that's the case. And of course, Mavericks failed like terrible.
With
But like
Brunson.
yeah, I think Porzingis was one of the worst. Like you gave that guy money and killed yourself. Like he wasn't healthy and he's not even like. But we saw like Porzingis have like great season this year.
Mhm.
Jalen Brunson has a great season this year. Like so, there are players
Mhm.
capable of doing great things, but not playing next to the Luka Doncic, which
Mhm.
is
Yeah.
like, yeah, Luka Doncic is great to like have for guys Reggie Bullock and Dorian Finney-Smith, the guys that can create for themselves. And then there was the stat that like top five most wide open shot qualities. They had like three Dallas Mavericks players there because of the Luka Doncic. Like
Mhm.
the teams collapse on him and he just creates unbelievable shots for the players, but also teams leave them wide open because they are not a real threat. Like
Yeah.
I mean, like they shoot like 37-36% from wide open corner
Wide
threes.
open.
Yeah, so
Interesting. So I think Dallas, it'll be more than just talent they have to look for. It's also the fit to play around Doncic. This is
yeah,
hmm,
but on the end I'll say like Luka Doncic is a better player overall, but I'm just like I have some issues with both of these guys, but they are both amazing. Like probably
oh,
one of
of course.
the top
Take take
15 players in the league. Like, yeah, Luka
take
probably top
nothing take
five.
nothing away from Trae Young. He's spectacular as well. So it's not like it's a clear, in my opinion, it's not like it's a clear cut win for Dallas, but um I think we can agree to disagree for
Yeah,
different reasons.
if Reddish was a bit better, I think we will talk about it even more. But
Yeah,
yeah,
man, Reddish was a weird one. He had so much upside at Duke, and he had a bad season at Duke, but they're like, this guy has so much ability, and he just never really found it in the NBA.
but
Strange one.
I actually don't know about. I was a fan of him. Like, I liked him. I mean, I don't know if I told you, but Hawks are my second team after the Houston Rockets. I watched
Right, right.
like like them a ton. So I was actually big on Cam Reddish, not huge, but like a good like 3 and D guy that can have some creation in his game and
Yeah.
play good defense. But yeah, he was just like tunnel vision and like no like IQ for some good basketball.
There's a reason he doesn't get play time. I think he's talented enough to play for an NBA team, but I think, like you said, the smarts, the
For
IQ on
sure.
court
Like
maybe aren't quite there.
I I really don't understand this situation in the Knicks. Like he got there and they traded for him and then he didn't even have a chance
Yeah, they traded
and
the first. I
he
think that
did.
was the first for him too.
Yeah, it was like I think yeah, but I was surprised like because my Rockets couldn't get first for Eric Gordon, like and then they get okay. Cam Reddish is younger and talented, but more potential. But Gordon is so much better player, so I was expecting like okay, they get one first pick for Cam Reddish, so we are getting for Gordon, and it never happened. And yeah, it was
Gordon,
confusing.
I can't believe he's
Yeah,
still at Houston all these years later. Him and Miles Turner, every year they're gonna trade them at the deadline, and then no trade happens. And I
yeah,
doubt either of them get moved this year either. It's such a weird one.
yeah.
Okay, enough on that. Let's move into the official play for today. Only one bet. Pips wasn't that big on the slate, but he did find one play with value. And I don't know if you took this angle here, but Bulls technically at Pistons. This is a game being played in Paris, France, and Pips has gone to the French American player who I honestly can't believe is involved in one of the plays on this show. But sorry, one mistake here. Pulling up here. Killian Hayes is the focus of the same game parlay. And you spoke about Killian Hayes having such a good run without Cade Cunningham, betting into that here.
Yeah. I'm betting his confidence and him going to the France, of course. Like I like his numbers, and then we have additional angle of him going to the France. Like okay, I'm betting this one. Like if it doesn't hit, like okay, but I think it has some value. If he's just a little bit more aggressive than usual, he's covering this line pretty easily. So I just love the spot. Chicago Bulls defense not great, but let's say like Killian Hayes over 11.5 points combined with over 5.5 assists, which is minus 110 at DraftKings, getting good price. I actually love his assists no matter what. Like I was looking to pair his assist with Nikola Vucevic or Killian Hayes points, but if I can involve the same player, like it's obvious. Like the thing with same game parlays, we are always involving two players. So when injuries affect our bets way more than usual, like but so it's way better to bet one player if you like both guys like similar. So if you bet the same player, if he gets the minutes, he did it. Some people are asking, how are you betting over on points and over on assists? But it is actually correlated. Like if he get 36 minutes, he'll get chances to clear both. Like he's their man of offense now, and he's create. I'm actually pretty amazed. I watched like every game of the Pistons over the last couple of weeks, and I'm actually amazed how he creates shots easily. Like his shot creation is like great, like one of the best in the entire NBA. Like especially over the last like 6 to 7 games. If we take a look at Killian numbers, he had like 9, 6, 7. Like he's over this line in the last 7 straight games, and it like 6 or more assists in 7 straight games. And if you take a look at his assist average in January, it's 8 assists a game. So he's averaging 14.6 points per game and 8 assists per game over the last couple over in January, and his shooting efficiency is 46% from the field and 38% from the three and 83% from the free throw line, like all season high, all career high. Like
Yep.
he's playing amazing and going to the France against the Bulls that their defense is not that great, and I think like I would say like uh, I don't know what to say anymore, but like I'm like huge fan. Oh yeah, I know. We were surprised we were betting on Killian Case. So actually, I had last night even more amazing bet. in my private group, and it was Isaac Okoro over on PRA.
Did it hit?
I was betting Isaac Okoro over on PRAs, and he cleared it almost at the halftime. Yeah, that was amazing. So
I'm
Isaac
joking
Okoro,
about it. Sorry, I'm joking about it, but it all in actuality is. You go ahead.
Yeah, I think it's some messing up on the stream because of the voice. So Killian Hayes had shot 4 for 4 from 3 points, and he's actually shooting now 34% on the season, and he's shooting. Just let me get the number. I actually wrote it down. Just a minute. Just a second. So he's shooting 19 for 34 from 3 over the last 14 games. So that's almost 60% over the last 14 games from 3. Isaac Okoro. That's if he can continue shooting 38 and more percent, Cavs have great wing player. I thought last game I talked about his amazing defense, CJ McCollum. So if he can do that kind of defense with shooting the ball like he did, and some cut, he's great cutter and finisher at the rim, and great in running transition. So if he can add three-point shooting to that, Cleveland Cavaliers have a great 3-and-D guy.
I think Isaac Okoro saw the rumors the Cavs were looking to replace him in the starting 5, so he picked up his slack. And like you said, the Cavs, all they need is reliable 3-and-D from the 3 spot because their team is so good around him. But I was gonna say I'm joking about Killian Hayes, whatever. But when there's value on a line, you take all player bias aside. So props to you for finding that one over there. Anything else on Hayes before we wrap up the show?
Let's have a French game.
Let's have a French game. I don't know if you speak French. I speak French. Killian Hayes est au centre de notre émission avec ce pari. Killian Hayes, the focus of our bet on the same game parlay here. I minored in French. I'm fluent in French, by the way. Anyways,
that's cool. I'm actually didn't understand a single word. So.
I just said he's the focus of our bet today. Killian Hayes, as the Pistons technically host the Bulls, but in Paris for this one. Killian Hayes, the French-American, over 11.5 points paired with over 5.5 assists. That is -110 at DraftKings. That is the only play for today. Let's hope this one cashes. You win one, it's going to be a profitable day. Let's hope we have that here. Didn't think we'd be betting on Killian Hayes this season, but credit to him. He really has turned his maybe career around with this stretch of games because he might have been almost out of the league the way that he was playing. But if you guys enjoyed, remember to smash that like button, support the channel, and also subscribe to the Board NBA for more basketball content just like this. Me and Pips go live right here every weekday around 11:20, 11:30 a.m. Eastern time. Also, be sure to check out thehammer.bet for more sports betting content, especially in the midst of the NFL playoff season. Thank you again, guys. Let's hope this pick cashes. Supporting the Frenchman, Killian Hayes here, and we'll see you tomorrow for more from Pick and Roll.